there was quite a bit of controversy whether you actually were exempted, did you get a genuine exemption? And that debate was going on. And then you resigned. Many people assume that you resigned because, maybe you felt you didn't act correctly. I want you to address Nigerians on this issue now that you're here, your sister.
So, resignation for me is a matter of principle. And I didn't resign because I felt I had done anything wrong. I need to state that absolutely clearly. I resigned because I felt and still feel that the swirl of controversy around a Minister of Finance was such that if I continued, I was disrespecting the office, right? So let's go to the allegation.
Right.
What was the allegation? The allegation, which was printed online, was that I graduated at 22, I skipped NYSC, and therefore the exemption certificate that I had presented must have been forged. That was the allegation, right? And these people reached out to us and we said, no, you got it wrong. Yes, I graduated at 22, absolutely correct. But I graduated at 22 in England.
Right.
As a British citizen,
right,
living and working in England. At the time I graduated, I had been to Nigeria once. And that once, I got a visa in my British passport. Why? Not because I didn't want to be a Nigerian, but because the constitution of Nigeria forbade dual citizenship. So I couldn't have been a Nigerian. So I used to go to there was this office, I'm sure a lot of people will remember this office, on Fleet Street. You have to go there and everything Nigerians were asked to bring to get a UK visa, Nigeria was asking us to bring. So I would have to get a letter of invitation, bank statements of my sponsor, passport of my sponsor to come into Nigeria. And then they would give me 4 weeks. So as at 22, I was living and working in the UK. Okay. And I'd been to Nigeria once. So where is the obligation to serve? I wasn't covered by Nigerian law. I wasn't a Nigerian citizen. Now, when the constitution then changed, that was 99. I was 32. So my father left Nigeria for England in 64.
Oh, wow.
No, 62, sorry. My mum's 64. My dad's late. My mum's still living in the same borough, 64.
Oh, wow.
She's 87 now. So my family home is in England. All my siblings live in England. Amen. So by the time I now moved to Nigeria permanently, I was 35.
Of course, so you've gone past the age.
So in government, this was understood and being, everyone was like, yeah, don't mind them. So I thought that, okay, at some point, some bodies in government are going to have to come out and just say, look, nothing to see here. But there was this silence for 3 months.
Yeah.
And then I kind of, what's the word, as they say, woke up and smelt the coffee that, whoa, hold on a minute, something's going on here. It shouldn't take 3 months to check immigration records and see that this person came in on visas.
Right.
It shouldn't take 3 months to check NYSC to say, yes, this person actually was exempt. These exemption certificates were processed on her behalf. She was 32 when she became a Nigerian, 35 when she came to live in the country. It shouldn't have taken that long.
Tell us, what did you feel about that silence? How did it make you feel?
So there were two things. There was and it's an interesting one because there wasn't a silence at sort of president level, vice president level. They understood. In fact, there was so much sympathy and so much love. Like, why are they doing this? But the silence was institutional. And at the same time, the furore was just being whipped up. The thing just refused to go, right? So I was then left with two choices. I knew that, look, the only way I'm going to clarify this is to go to court, right? And I felt you can't be Minister of Finance, representing your nation, going to the World Bank, signing treaties one day, and the next day you're in court on a matter of integrity.
But and I agree with you entirely.
Okay.
But part of the problem that we now have is that you have people holding public offices and actually behaving that way, which is why people then said, why did Kemi do her own differently? Because people will say that, okay, well, I'm going to sit down there and fight this thing. Still holding to public office. Like I said, I would do what you have done, but we have gotten to a point as a people where, and so there's a bit of confusion.
I can see why
she gave up. Why did she give up?
But what did you give up? So minister is not my middle name, right? It's not do or die. And I feel that you shouldn't desecrate the office. It's a very high office and it's a very sensitive office. You don't desecrate the office with your own personal matter. Insofar as government agencies, you say you heard a rumor. I'm not saying, I didn't listen to rumors. All I know is the fact that I knew I was exempt and my story has never changed. So when I decided that, look, I'm going, and by the way, I could have stayed, right? So I still have the email. I was scrolling through my inbox, the email of a statement that I was told I needed to issue. And then the presidency would now issue a statement and the matter would be closed. I read the statement and that day I knew, Kemi, you're gone. Because I knew I wasn't going to issue it. Because it wasn't true. So, you know,
So somebody powerful was trying to get you to make some statement.
But I would have been owned. Look, let me tell you one thing about the Ministry of Finance, and I'm not naive about this.
Right.
Because remember, I was a Commissioner of Finance first.
Yeah.
The word no is a watchword.
Yeah.
Right?
I think N-O.
N-O. No, sorry, we can't pay this.
Yeah.
No, sorry, this doesn't qualify.
Yeah.
And every time,
accountants are not very popular
we're
people.
never popular people, right?
By the way.
And so if your Minister of Finance is loved by everybody, they're probably not doing much of a job, right? So I'm not confused by the fact that I had stepped on toes, powerful toes. I'm not confused about that. And I'm not confused about the fact that I had powerful enemies who I believe saw an opportunity.
Yeah.
Say, look, let's get rid of her.
Yeah.
Let's get rid of her. And I think they called it right in the sense that they knew that eventually she would go. And that's the way I was brought up. You don't hold on to something as if, you know, no. In fact, people still like, no one resigns finance. Like, I did. And why did I resign? And I remember the day I resigned, I went to go and see Mr. President. And I said, Mr. President, I need to go. But I need to go to court because I have to clear my name. And he said, I absolutely support you. I absolutely support you. And why? Because these names are leased from our children and our grandchildren, right? They're going to inherit them.
Yeah.
And then you destroy your name because you wanted to stay as minister for what?
The president said that.
That was our discussion. So I said, sir, I'm going and I'm going to court. I cannot fight because I'm suing the government. I had to sue the government. I sued the federal government. You can't be suing the government and stay in the government. You can't.
Of course.
You have to go.
Of course.
Right? And I still think it was the right thing to do.
And when you sue the government, and this is a public matter, so were you suing NYSC or an agency of government? I wanted you to explain to our audience why you had to sue the government.
So the only people that could have clarified this issue as to whether I was exempt or not by virtue of the Constitution was government.
Yeah.
And when you sue government, I didn't even know this because my lawyer was British, so he named all the insurance. They said, no, that's not how it works. You sue the chief law officer, who's the Attorney General. Right. The Attorney General then coordinates the various agencies to bring their own position. Right. And what was the basis of the lawsuit? The 79 Constitution made it very clear. This woman is not or was not at the material time a Nigerian.
Citizen.
Yes or no? And the Constitution, of course, is the highest law.
Of course.
So once the Constitution says you're not a Nigerian, then you're not subject to Nigerian laws.
Absolutely.
So let me just give, and this not being a Nigerian there is so funny that it was so real to me. So the first time we came to Nigeria, I was 19. We came on a holiday. You know how students are. We didn't have much money. So we bought the cheapest ticket, which happened to be an airline called Sierra Leone Airlines, the national carrier of Sierra Leone. We didn't know they only had one plane. When we got to Freetown, I'm sure there's some people probably watching this saying, I was on that flight. When we got to Freetown, the plane developed a fault. We ended up spending 7 days in Freetown before they could repair the plane. Now, what happened? We were in a hotel. Now, after a while, Nigeria started agitating because it was getting to Christmas. There was somebody who was about to get married. There were people, stranded. So the Nigerian consulate came. And then they would ask each person, write down who you want us to contact to tell where you are. Right. When we went to join the queue, they said no. So we then went to go and get the British. There were about 37 of us that were British. They said, you're not Nigerians.
And what year was that?
1986.
Wow.
Yeah, 86. Yeah, Christmas 86.
So you had to, of course.
We went there, we went to get the British.
passport.
Yes, so we then went and found out there were 31 of us that had British passports. So the British now turned up. And it was the British that were then calling my mum in London, calling our mum and say, they're here, they're in Hotel Buntumani, room so, if you want to call them, and so on and so, organising and then asking us, did we need toothbrushes? Did we need this? It was the flight, we the stranded, we broke out on national lines. And, and I used to stand in the queue when I came to Nigeria, even when I was married to a Nigerian with 2 children, I was standing in the queue, other passport holders, you call it? Nigerian passport, other passport holders.
Exactly.
That was always my queue.
Foreign nationals.
Yeah, there you go. So I knew I wasn't a Nigerian. So how on earth would anybody assume that, oh, okay, you skipped? You can't skip what you're not meant to do.
Yeah.
And then once I knew, okay, I am exempt. So what was the motive to forge? Why would you forge what you're entitled to? It's like you going to forge a Nigerian passport. Why? You're entitled to it.
Absolutely.
And that's what the court ruled. The court said, I was exempt.